KC24 brings you a lifestyle show from people you know. Now, Central Valley Today.
Well, have you ever experienced how your sense of smell evokes a distant memory, like how a nostalgic scent from a beloved family recipe can take you back to your childhood? Well, noted neurosurgeon and olfactory sense and memory expert Dr. Charles Gordon is here to explain the fascinating connection between memory and smell. And I know exactly what you're talking about. So, Dr. Gordon, you're at the forefront of research into the connection between smell and memory. So, can you please explain to our viewers and listeners what this is all about?
Hi, Emily. It's so great to see you. Thanks for having me. So, what we are learning is that there is this incredibly powerful connection between your nose and your brain. The sense of smell is actually called your olfactory sense, and it's the part of the body that allows us to perceive smells. And what we have found is that there's a direct connection between your olfactory sense and your brain, which is why, as you mentioned a second ago, you can have a very powerful memory evoked by just encountering a smell. Other senses, like for instance your hearing or your vision, go through the thalamus, through sort of a air traffic controller of the brain, but not your nose. It goes straight to the memory centers, straight to the limbic system where you have emotions. And that's why this fascinating science is so interesting.
I know. Whenever I smell Old Spice, I think of my dad. Whenever I smell that smell. So, what can you tell us about the research that supports this theory?
Well, honestly, it's not a theory. It's a very well-established fact that there's a direct connection between your nose and your hippocampus. But what's fascinating that we found over the last 5 or 10 years, and particularly after so many people lost their sense of smell during the pandemic, we found that the sense of smell has a direct connection to the hippocampus, and that by improving your sense of smell, you're actually exercising your brain. See, the sense of smell is different than like your vision or your hearing, because the neurons in our olfactory system are constantly regenerating. And so you can lose those neurons and then you can get them back by exercising them, and that's called olfactory training. And so what we found is that by participating in olfactory training, you are actually exercising your brain.
Okay, I think, and people are annoyed by this sometimes, I think I have a very sensitive sense of smell. I think everything smells. I can smell everything. I am always like putting diffusers and lighting candles in my house because I smell everything. What are these olfactory training programs? What are a few tips? What do we actually do to train our olfactory senses?
Well, first of all, congratulations to you for having a sensitive sense of smell. That probably proves what a great memory you have, Emily. But in terms of what a person can do, we've started a website called drgordons.com. I'd encourage anybody who's interested to go to that. And it can teach you how you can learn more about olfactory training. But the truth is, we can all engage in olfactory training. It starts by being mindful about the smells you encounter. A great place to start is in the kitchen when you're cutting up a lemon or an onion. Instead of just kind of wafting past it, if you pay attention to what you smell, and particularly if you are mindful and bring back a past memory, you are actually exercising your brain just the same as if you go to the gym to exercise your muscles.
Okay, I feel like this would be a great reason to break out that bottle of wine, maybe a wine that you've had years ago with a loved one. You break it out, pour a glass, have a little smell, and see if it can take you back there and see what you can pick out. It's very much like wine. How did you get into this?
Well, it is very much like wine. In fact, one of the studies that we uncovered was a study in France where they took these guys going through the wine tasting or the sommelier training. They did an MRI of their brains before and after, and they found that the size of their hippocampus, which is where you have short-term memory, was substantially increased after their training. So it's a fascinating thing. I got into it because, you know, it's part of my field, and then I watched my dad struggle with memory problems later on in life, and I got to wondering what can a person do to keep their brain sharp? And of course, Emily, a lot of it you already know you want to stay physically healthy, you want to stay socially engaged, you want to have a healthy diet, don't smoke, control your diabetes. All of those things are super important as well. But then I came across this olfactory training, which, as a neurosurgeon, I was surprised that I hadn't really heard much about it. And that's why I've started this website to try to help people increase their awareness of the importance of their sense of smell and the connection to your brain.
Well, I find it absolutely fascinating. I've had, a few people in my family that struggled with memory loss and dementia in their later years. So this feels like a road to, maybe understanding our memory and our brains more so than we ever have before. So Dr. Gordon, thank you so much for being here. We will have the link to his website where you can train your olfactory senses. We'll put it on our website as well. Dr. Gordon, thank you so much.
Emily, thank you for having me. Have a great day.